Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. I got to see somebody ask a very innocent question. And this question brought up a lot of hate and discontent. And I've let this kind of simmer in the background for a few months. One, because of how aggressive some people got on this question. And it really surprised me of how hateful people could be on something where somebody innocently asked, what EDC knife would work as a survival knife? It seems like a pretty simple question. Doesn't seem like it should be a problem. And I do know that, a lot of people, when they think survival knife, that it needs to be a big, honking, thick, full tanged blade. This one isn't even that thick. Just because I don't go for that 1/4 inch thick piece of steel for my uses. But anyways, this is the closest example that I have in hand of a knife, because everybody seems to think that it has to baton through a 4 inch round of wood to be a survival knife. The problem is has anybody ever tried breaking a 4 inch chunk of wood? I mean, I don't even know what I have that's 4 inches around near me. This is a whiskey glass, a Glencairn. By the way, Wild Turkey 101 this evening that we're sipping on. This is probably 2.5, 3 inches around at most. That's a big chunk of wood. And if you don't have a saw to cut that down, I tell you what, if it's a solid piece of wood, you aren't breaking that over your knee. Hand you a piece of hickory or a piece of oak that big around, you aren't breaking that down into a small stick to baton through. And that's where I think a lot of people don't have an understanding of the reality. If you need to make a fire and there's timber that has wood like that around in those 2, 3, 4 inch pieces, it means there's twigs. It means there's branches. It means there's leaves. It means there's other things to be starting your fire with. So it got me thinking, yes, obviously you want something robust. And I'll show you my neck knife. This is a White River M1. I can't remember which particular model this is with the handles. Backpacker Pro, Caper, or whatever it is. Would this serve as my survival knife? Well, I guess I've made that decision, since it's on me at all times, that this is my everyday carry survival knife. It has a reasonably thick tang, but yet it comes down to a nice little point. It tapers down. It's sharp. My thought of a survival knife is I want to be able to, make some feather sticks if I need to, but I also want to be able to skin a squirrel. I also want to be able to make pointy sticks and things like that. That alone isn't enough for most people. So I started thinking, what do I have that's more robust that would, appease some of these mindsets or some of these thoughts that what is a small enough knife to carry every day, but yet be thick enough that could take some serious ignorant abuse? Because realistically, that knife right there, if you broke that, granted, you could probably break the tip off. Doesn't make it completely unusable. But if you broke that to make it unusable, you'd have to be doing something pretty crazy. I mean, you'd have to be in a situation that I hope to God nobody ever has to be in. So as I was thinking through this, I thought, man, I know what knife I'd like to have on me. And that would be LT Wright's Camp Muck. This thing could slice some food up really good. It does. I've done it. I could skin a squirrel if I need to, or a deer. I could make lots of pointy sticks with it. Can I baton with it? Yeah. Yeah, I could. Nothing too awful big. It has a nice, decent, thick tang to it. Nothing huge, though. It has a nice, thick handle. But would I carry this every day? Well, the answer is I don't carry it every day, because it has to be carried on my belt. It doesn't work really well as a neck knife, at least to conceal under a shirt or anything like that. It's not huge, but you know, you have to understand the situations you're going to be in. I think of an everyday carry knife as something that I can carry into an office building, something I could carry into a casino, something I could carry, through the grocery store and stuff and be not noticed too awful much. Some that comes down to how you carry it, what kind of belt or what kind of sheath you have for it. Is it a belt sheath? Is it an in the pocket sheath? Is it a neck sheath? Things like that. This is too big for a neck knife. Not saying that that's what I would consider necessary for an everyday carry. And then I also got thinking, man, I know what I'd really like, and this really fits the bill on a lot of areas. Is Very Good Knife Company makes this rancher style knife here. I think it's a rancher. I don't know the name. Man, I should really think of that. Anyways, I've done a video on this one before. This has a nice thick tang, tapers down nicely. If it'll focus. It won't focus, but hopefully you can see it in the blur. But great all around knife, decent size. You could throw that in a pocket sheath. You could, a little heavy for a neck knife, but still not bad. When you compare these side to side. There is a difference in the tang's thickness. If I had 4 hands, things would be better. And realistically, that would be something that I would not hesitate to carry. And realistically, guys, I'm not going to give you an answer of definitively what is a guaranteed knife of that nature. But I'm giving you some options of some knives and some companies that realistically I trust to build a quality enough knife that we can take out and it's going to be a solid option. Next one that came to mind after thinking about it a little bit has a little bit longer of a handle, so it's not going to carry quite as easily in some aspects, but has a nice solid thick full tang, good steel, great for skinning a squirrel, a deer, a moose, whatever, and work for about anything else. Esee has the Ashley game knife. And this thing, again, has a great design, great thickness. Is it going to baton some wood? Yeah, some smaller wood. Is it going to whittle some sticks? Absolutely. Is it going to skin a squirrel, deer? Yeah, I already said that. It's going to work great. So, all in all, those knives are some fantastic knives to have with you. Is it small enough for you to carry every day? I don't know. It kind of depends on how you want to carry it, where you're going, what environments you're getting into. But I will tell you this. Here this last weekend, we went on a little Verbo weekend trip. So we were in a cabin. No survival situation whatsoever at all. However, we didn't take a can opener with us, and we were going to have chili one night. So we took beans and everything we needed because most places have can openers in them. Never even thought twice about it. Never even crossed my mind that I needed a way to open a can. And as stupid as it sounds, my first thought is, well, I can just cut the top off or, jab down through the center of it. And I took all of these knives actually to make this video. And we just never had time to where I got to it. Can you guess which knife I used to do that? I had all of these with me. And my first thought was, this is not going to stab as well as I want it to through the top of a tin can and just go around the edge just to peel the lid up. This one here, maybe not so much either. Plus, as thick as it is and how quickly it gets thick, probably not the best option. Wasn't going to use this one because it does have a super fine tip to it that I didn't want breaking. Yep, this is the culprit. This is what I decided to open every single can with, and we have a family of 6, so we had 6 or 8 cans that I opened up. Did it keep the blade nice and pristine? Nope. See if I can get it to it. It rolled it a little, and I knew it would. I knew that stabbing through a tin can was not going to keep this edge perfect. Anybody who thinks differently, I don't care what steel you have, when you bring it down to a nice, fine, sharp edge, it doesn't do that. But the tip is pointy enough. It tapers down good, but not so fast that I was overly worried about breaking the tip in that situation. Has a reasonably thick tang, and it cut through all of them without a problem. Opened every single can. Just place it down, tap, 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 and just work my way around the edge. Not a problem. Is that the perfect survival everyday carry knife? I don't think there's a perfect one, guys. But is it one that I like having? Absolutely. Is it one that I trust in a situation? Yeah, completely. I would not be scared to have this on me. In fact, I'd prefer kind of having a knife like this one with me. And very good knife company. The name's kind of funny, but the fit and finish is so good. And I've never had an issue with them at all. The heat treat seems to be on point for what they are. I'm not going to say that it's better than any of the others, but for the price, for what they are, it's not a bad option. Neither is Esee. Esee will back this up. You go and break this, they'll send you a new one. If you break it epically, they'll say, hey, send it to us. Let us check that out. LT Wright, I don't know how they do on breaking things, but I know they take care of their customers. I know they're real, down-to-earth people. White River, again, never had a doubt in any of their knives that I have had. I use them quite a bit. Their fit and finish is great, oddly enough. Very good knife company's fit and finish is really close, and maybe in some ways arguably better, at least just as good or better than what examples I have of White River knives. You can ask anybody. Those are all great companies to trust in, to work with, that have great knives, that will stand behind their knives. So why get butthurt over an everyday carry knife? Why get mean that, there is no such thing and that any of these would be completely obsolete? Survival situations come up out of nowhere. Nobody packs for it every day. If you're packing for a trip, obviously you try to optimize the best you can. But you never know what you're going to encounter. These are all tools that I have no problem carrying with me. I don't think anybody else would. But I'd really like to hear your opinion. What else is out there that you really like? Because I know there's other great companies. I unfortunately can't make enough money to buy everything out there. Because, I tell you, there's probably a few that I should look at or that I'd like to. I just can't afford it all. These are good, down-to-earth, realistically priced items that are built to a quality better than what I will probably ever use to the full potential of what they are. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you have that you think would fit the bill. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch. Have a great day.